You need to say no to any toxic relationship that you have around you. You need to say no to any toxic friendship that you have around you. If you don't say no to that relationship, if you don't allow that relationship to let go, it will affect you mentally. It will affect you psychologically. It will affect you emotionally. So please say no to any toxic relationship. Say no to any relationship that brings fear to you. Any relationship that does not allow you to express yourself, to be yourself, to express your emotions, to express your feelings. Any relationship that brings fear to you is a toxic relationship. It is time to say no to such a relationship, because if you don't say no to that relationship, it will affect you mentally, it will affect psychologically. Hello everyone. Welcome to Sound Mind Clinic. We'll be discussing a very, very interesting topic today, and it is about when to say no. When to say no. Now, last week we discussed about rejection. Rejection is all about getting no from people or you saying no to them. And when should be the right time for you to say no? At what point in time should you say no? We had a section where we discussed about what it means to be mentally weak. And one of the things we said there is that it's a sign of mental weakness to always say yes and not say no. And most times, saying no to people might be a bit very, very difficult for us to do. But because of the fear of losing a relationship, because of the fear of rejection, we say yes to people all the time. Today, we want to look at the right time, the appropriate situation for us to say no. When do you say no? When is the right time for you to say no to a person or to a circumstance or to an idea? When is the best time to say no? If you're a type that always say yes to people, say yes all the time, you can't be mentally and emotionally stable. For us to be mentally and emotionally stable, we need to say no to some things. We need to say no to some people. We need to say no to some circumstance so that our emotional and mental health will be fine. One of the goals of Sound Mind Clinic is to make sure we are more aware about our mental health, is to make sure we are more aware about our emotional health, and is to also avoid us to get to the point of crisis. The goal of Sound Mind Clinic is for us to be able to deal with the roots of all emotional and mental illness. Prevention, they say, is better than cure, and the goal of Sound Mind Clinic is for us to prevent things that will make us end up in mental and emotional crisis. The goal of Sound Mind Clinic is to prevent us from crisis that will make us end in mental and emotional crisis. Prevention, they say, is better than cure. Let's get to know when we need to say no. Let's get to know the things, the circumstances, the situations surrounding the perfect time for us to say no. When should I say no to a person? When should I say no to a circumstance? When should I say no to a situation? When should I reject a thought? When should I reject a person? When should I reject a situation, a circumstance, so that it does not affect my mental and emotional health? So these are the things we want to look at today. So I advise you to stay to the end of this video to know the exact time, the perfect time for you to say no, to know the circumstance that demands for you to say no, so that our mental and emotional health will not be affected negatively. When should you say no? When should you say no? The first situation I would like to describe here is toxic relationship. When you are in a toxic relationship, when you are in a relationship that is full of fear, when you are in a relationship that is not positive, when you are in a relationship that is not adding any value, any positive thing to you, you are just there, you don't want to let go for fear of missing out. You don't want to let go for fear of, oh, how would this person feel? How would this person think about me? You don't want to let go of that relationship. This relationship is doing you more harm than good. This relationship is not adding any value to you. This relationship is, you are afraid, you are not yourself, you are not respected, your emotion is not respected, your feelings are not respected, there's no positive impact this relationship is making on you, but you don't want to let go. That's the time to say no. Because if you don't say no to a toxic relationship, it will affect your mental health. it will affect your emotional health. If you are holding on to a relationship that is toxic, if you are holding on to a relationship that does not respect your person, if you are holding on to a relationship that make you afraid, you are not yourself whenever you are around this person. When you are around this person, you are not feeling secured, you are not loved, you are afraid, you can't let out your emotions, you can't say, oh, this is how I feel about this thing. You can't be yourself around this person. It is time to say no. Because if you don't say no, it will affect you mentally, it will affect you emotionally. If you don't say no, you'll be surprised, you'll be shocked that the next time you'll find yourself in a psychiatric hospital. Yes, it can get to that level of a crisis if you are in a relationship that is toxic and you are not saying no. If you are in a relationship that does not respect you, a relationship with a person that does not respect you, a relationship with a person that does not value you, the negative impact of that person in your life is more than the positive impact. Such a relationship is a relationship for you to say no to. You need to say no to a relationship that is toxic. You need to say no to a relationship with a person that does not respect you. You need to say no to a relationship with a person that does not respect your feelings, your emotions. You need to say no to a relationship with a person that whenever you come around them, you are always afraid. You are not always yourself. You need to say no to any toxic relationship that you have around you. You need to say no to any toxic friendship that you have around you. If you don't say no to that relationship, if you don't allow that relationship to let go, it will affect you mentally. It will affect you psychologically. It will affect you emotionally. So please say no to any toxic relationship. Say no to any relationship that brings fear to you. Any relationship that does not allow you to express yourself, to be yourself, to express your emotions, to express your feeling. Any relationship that brings fear to you is a toxic relationship. It is time to say no to such a relationship, because if you don't say no to that relationship, it will affect you mentally, it will affect psychologically, it will affect you in such a way that before you will be able to recover, it will be too late. So don't let it get to that point where it affects your mental health. Don't let it get to that point where it affects your emotional health. Say no to all toxic relationship. Say no to a relationship that makes you afraid. Say no to a relationship that makes you not to express yourself. Say no to any relationship that does not respect your feelings, that does not respect your emotions. If you don't say no to that relationship because of fear, if you don't say no to that relationship because of fear of rejection, then you are playing with your mental health. You are playing with your emotional health. The second thing to say no to is negative self-talk. Negative self-talk. Whenever you begin to say negative things concerning yourself, maybe because of a mistake that you have done in the past, maybe because of a wrong that you have done, maybe because of a failure that you had, whenever you begin to say negative things to yourself, it is time to say no to such thoughts. It is time to say no to such ideas. It's okay to learn from your mistakes, but it's not good for you to dwell on your guilt. It's not good for you to dwell on. You can reflect on what you have done wrong, but don't criticize yourself negatively, because it will never do any good to your mental health. It will never do any good to your emotional health. So say no to negative talk. Say no to every talk that you have to yourself, to every negative talk that you talk about yourself, maybe because of something you have done in the past, maybe because of your failure or something you have done wrong in the past. Whenever you begin to speak negative about yourself, that, oh, I am too slim, oh, I am too fat, oh, I am very, very lazy, those things can hurt you mentally. Those things can affect you emotionally. Say no to negative talk about yourself. Do not speak negative about yourself. Even when you have done wrong, you are not that thing. You are not a failure. The fact that you failed does not make you a failure. Whenever you are going through something in life, or you are going through a negative experience in life, don't make those experiences yourself. You are different from those experiences. So don't speak negative things about yourself because of an experience that you have. Don't speak negative things to yourself because of a situation, because of a circumstance, because when you do, it will affect you emotionally, it will affect you mentally. So say no to negative talk to yourselves. One other thing to say no to is comparing yourself with others. Whenever you get to that point when you are comparing yourself with another person, it is time to say no to that thought. It is time to say no to that imagination. Every one of us are unique beings. You can never be like me. I can never be like you. We all have our strengths. We all have our weaknesses. You understand? So you should never compare yourself with another person. That person you are comparing yourself with, that person also has his or her own struggles. Whenever you look at somebody and you see, oh, I want to be like this person, you admire that person and all that, it's okay to admire people, but never be intimidated or never be taken by another person's achievement or so, because they have their own struggles, they have their own weaknesses, just like you. You are so conscious of your own. They are not conscious of theirs. That's why you see them like that. So never you get to that point when you are comparing yourself with another person. It is very, very unhealthy. Say no to comparing yourself with another person. Another thing to say no to is opinions of others that affect our growth. Everything we hear about ourselves is an opinion, not a fact. And everything we see about ourselves is a perspective, not the truth. So say no to others' opinion about you that affects your growth. People have the right to have opinions about you. They may be right, they may be wrong. But if those opinions are affecting your growth, it's time to say no to those opinions. You can't live your life based on people's opinions about you. You have your life to live. People might have opinion about you. If they are right, fine. But you don't have to allow people's opinion about you to affect your growth. So say no to opinions about people that affect your growth. The last thing to say no to is forcing yourself to fit in. Never force yourself to fit in any person's life. Never force yourself to fit in any organization. Never force yourself to fit in any person. Trying to force yourself to fit a person or a system or an organization will affect your mental health. So when should you say no? Whenever you are trying to force yourself to fit into a person's life, whenever you are trying to force yourself to fit into a system or an organization, it is time to say no. Never force yourself on anybody. Say no whenever you are trying to force yourself on anybody, on any system, or on any organization. I hope you find this video very interesting on when to say no. If you do, subscribe so that you will be updated whenever we post a new video. Also share with somebody you think will learn one or two things from this topic, when to say no. See you in our next video. Peace.